So, guys, welcome to episode 71 of the 72 review. It is the big one. It is the season opener for the 72 review. It's the 2024-25 season preview, a little bit, but it's the big one. It is the table predictions across all three divisions. We also have a brand new intro for the 2024-25 season. Let's go. Not bad, that.
I like that.
It's all right, isn't it?
Made it
almost
good,
after
Dan.
that, there needs to be a big booming voice that goes Soccer AM Pro Am or something like that because of the music.
I need to get you on it. So, if you missed the intro,
You're
are
the voice
doing
guy.
If you missed the intro, we are doing the table predictions. You will have to bear with us. It is absolutely sweltering. I don't know if it's the same in Rotherham or you in Sheffield, Worko?
No, I'm near Nottingham.
Is it just as hot there?
Oh yeah, it's anything. It's horrible.
It's a tough day for us. So we will try and get through it as quickly as possible. But if you saw last season's, we go through all three divisions. We agree or disagree with our own personal table predictions, and we just kind of work out and come to an amicable decision on it on every single club. There's nothing personal. We'll get that out there straight away. We've got to put a couple of teams in the relegation spots. We've got to put a couple of teams missing out on what your expectations might be. But this is where we want the comment section to kind of blow up, and you tell us who you're following and why we are massively miles away from where you think you're going to finish.
Like we normally are, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do particularly well last year, so hopefully we do a little bit better this season. But today I'm joined by a couple of usual faces. We're pre-recording this because I'm busy this weekend, so like getting everybody together has been really difficult. But we will all get together on the first Sunday of the season. So first up is Ian. I'm going to let you introduce your new channel, Ian, because you're flying solo this season, aren't you?
Yes.
So go for it.
Yeah. After a few years having my videos edited by Over the Bar, which I thank them for. They've been great with me in general. I'm flying solo now. So my channel is going to be at Old Man Ground Hopping on YouTube. So it's just normally EFL stuff, match day experiences. There'll be no bells and whistles, no music, no intros, no outros, just match day experiences. And I've got my first one on the opening day, which I'm really looking forward to. It's Harrogate against Bromley. So I'll see Bromley's first game as an EFL club.
And they're going to be an interesting team to watch this season, I think. A bit of an unknown coming up on the crest of a wave that could cause a few upsets, I think. So I'm looking forward to watching that one, Ian. And below you is Worko. Introduce yourself. Let us know what you do and why you do it, mate.
Yes, I'm Worko. I'm part of the Talking Wednesday podcast, Sheffield Wednesday fan. I've got my own stuff going on. Like I'm trying to really get into the voice acting career. I've just been in Fallout London that's come out. So just trying to capitalize on all of that at the moment. But yeah, I'm just pursuing that and then pursuing my own stuff. I only really talk football on this and on the Talking Wednesday podcast because I did have the idea of doing my own Sheffield Wednesday related channel, but then I see, there's Jake who does about 7 billion videos a day. So by the time that you've got your own idea, Jake's already done 8 videos on that exact same thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, great. What can I do now? But yeah, I'm just kind of trying to make my way through all of that as best as I can, and just things are happening as they're happening. I don't know. I'm trying to find my feet with everything. So yeah,
You're on the up, mate. You're on the up.
yes, hopefully.
Yeah, that's it. I love how excited you've been that now you can talk about Fallout as well.
Oh yeah, because I was actually under an NDA. So had I said anything about it before it had come out, I would have been sued. So that was a fun experience, saying I'm in something, but I can't talk about it. And then everyone's been like, okay, great, whatever. It could be any idiot with a microphone doing anything. So it's nice to actually.
You might
have
get us a few more views as well
Yeah.
with your voice.
Well,
Right.
but if Dapper wants me to do some.
Hey,
sort of
you're more than
voice
welcome
intro.
any week.
Ah,
But no, it's all good stuff.
yes.
Jake may be joining us. I'll keep an eye on the bottom. If he comes, I'll introduce him. We'll get him in. But yeah, let's get into predicting our 3 divisions. We're going to start in League 2. Anybody watching who's a fan of Tranmere or Walsall, don't worry. This is just in alphabetical order. We will move these teams around. We're just going to start with Accrington Stanley. Predict where they're going to go, and we'll move the teams around, and hopefully we'll come to an agreement on all 24 in League 2 relatively quickly and move on to League 1 and then the Championship, and then we will round the video off. So that's the plan for this episode. And we'll probably just take a team at a time, explain why you think that they're going to be in the position that you think, and then thrash it out. If we agree, we'll move them. If we don't, then we'll get there in the end. So, Ian, we'll start with you, mate. Accrington Stanley.
Well, Accrington, it's always a tough place to go as an opposing team and or opposing fan. They've got their own style that they've honed over a number of years, and it's been relatively successful. But now they haven't got John Coleman in, and I think it's Dolan that's the manager there. I'm not sure. Anyway, I still think they'll be okay, but I don't think they'll. I think lower mid-table for me. I've put them on my sheet that I'm in front of me. I've put them at 14.
14.
And I think lower mid-table is probably right for them.
So I went a little bit lower than that. I've gone 21st on mine. I think the loss of Coleman's going to impact them quite a bit. So based on that, we're kind of still in the lower mid-table region. Worko, where have you got them?
I'm sort of in between you two. I've gone with 19th position for similar reasons. I think it's always difficult when you've lost a manager. Coleman, yes?
Yeah.
This is where I show myself up for not knowing much about League 2, and I'm really sorry.
You're coming to your own in the Championship and League 1, don't worry.
Oh, boy. But yeah, I think it's quite crucial when you've lost a manager that you struggle to bounce back. Just look at, for example, Sheffield Wednesday, to bring them up, too early in the video, but lost Darren Moore, and then we all know the horrible lead up to Christmas that we had under that he who shall not be named, and I just worry that the same sort of thing might happen for Tranmere, unfortunately.
So we've got
yes.
So I've got them in 21st. You went with 19th. Ian went with 14th. Should we stick them 17th for now and not lock them in?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Okay, Worko, on to AFC Wimbledon, mate. Thoughts on them?
See, I always like them for the pure reason that it was built by fans and everything. I personally, whether it's emotionally or not, would see them probably in about 7th or 8th. Just because I think they're building something worthwhile there. It seems like there's quite a lot of a positive sort of feeling around the club from what I've seen on like social media and all that sort of thing. They finished 10th last season. Obviously, I just think it's a steady progression for them. I can see them having a steadier sort of mid-table, but upper mid-table sort of season, I reckon.
Yeah, so I've gone around the same as you, Worko, with 6th. Like I say, steady progression. I think there's something positive going on there with Johnny Jackson as well. So I think they're going to have a decent season. So we're in 6th, 7th area. Ian, what's your thoughts on Wimbledon?
I've gone a little bit lower. I think mid-table, definitely. But I think that consistency is going to be a problem. I mean, if they can get a run going, it can be quite bouncy plough lane when the team's doing quite well. But I've got them down at 13th.
13th.
Yeah.
So
pessimistic compared to the two of us.
Yeah.
So once again, there's a little bit of a gap. Shall we go kind of middle 11th, 12th area?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
12.
I'm happy with that. We've not locked them in yet, so the may move as the video goes on. We'll probably come up against somebody who we really truly believe finishes in 12th, and then teams will shuffle about. On to the next team, Barrow. So a really good season last season, in and around the playoffs for the majority of it, and then tailed off towards the end of the season. They've lost Pete Wild. I've gone for a tough season for them. I think they're going to kind of drop off massively compared to recent seasons. I've got them down in 18th just because of kind of the upheaval, and they've lost quite a few players that make Barrow tick and perform how they do. So yeah, I've gone for a tough season in 18th. Ian, similar or
I've got them in 10th actually.
Okay.
I watched them a couple of times last season. I watched them on the opening day when they won at Tranmere, and they looked good that day. And I also saw them when they drew at Notts County around about January time. And I've also seen them in pre-season this season when they beat FC United of Manchester 3-0 at FC's ground. They're looking decent. They look quite good. I think last season's probably as high as they might get, but I can't see the tail off that you can see, Dan. So I put them down in 10th.
Yeah, that's fair. Work up.
For similar reasons to you, Dan, I've sort of said about 15th for them, just because it's always a big upheaval when you lose a lot of players and whatnot. And I agree. I think about 15th would for me, for a similar kind of reason that what you said.
So I've gone 18th. You're 15th. You're 10th, Ian. So I'm happy with 14th if you two are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
I'm sure things will change. Barrow are in 14th. Ian, Bradford City.
Well, Bradford, massive club, fantastic fan base, and they've been in League Two forever. I don't know why. They sell out all the away ends wherever they go. It's just that something is just not clicking properly on the pitch. They missed out on the playoffs last season. They have a number of quite high-profile managers that don't seem to work. I don't know. I do think though that this coming season, I think there'll be an improvement, and I think there could be some momentum built up. So I've got them in the last playoff spot at 7th.
Okay, work up. What are your thoughts on Bradford finishing 9th last season?
I think they were unlucky not to get in the playoffs, because I've got a good friend that I talk a lot about Bradford with and stuff. And to be honest as well, them being in League Two for so long can only be looked at from the ownership perspective. And when you don't properly back a manager, that's kind of what happens. He just gets shafted and stuck in a league for so long, a bit like Bradford have been. I've got them 5th because from how it was at the tail end of last season, they've done good business. There's a lot of high hopes there this summer. I've got them in 5th to make a proper playoff push and sort of stick in there this time around.
Okay, and I've gone worse off than the new two guys. Obviously, they finished 9th last season. I don't think they've recruited particularly well. So I've got them dropping down a place to 10th, but I'm happy to go with the majority and stick them in and around 5th, 6th or 7th.
I think the average probably 7th.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
That was easy, wasn't it? I think they are too big to be in this division.
They were one of the founding Premier League teams, if I remember rightly, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. So... They survived the first season as well, because I remember David Weatherall scoring against Liverpool on last day.
Yeah. Work up Bromley. The newbies.
Bromley, the newbies. I would probably put them in sort of 20th, I'd say, because the leap from League Two to League One, unless you're Wrexham and spent a shed load and bought League One players in the blooming National League, you definitely do struggle. There's a bit of a difference in League One football to League Two football. So I've said a hopeful 20th.
So I've had a little bit of hammer from my predictions video that went out. I think I may have underestimated Bromley. They've kept the kind of core of the squad, the nucleus of the squad, and a few. I know that there may be a little bit of bias going in, but a couple of the Bromley fans said that they were more defensively solid than what Chesterfield were last season. And they were attacking in force as well. I watched Gills in the Bloods preview as well, and he's got them quite high. I think he watched them last season. So I think I've probably sold them short, putting them in 22nd. So yeah, it's like this season's Colchester are the Bromley fans.
Yeah.
So I need to be careful. So we're like around kind of a relegation battle, me and you, Worko. What about
Yes.
yourself, Ian?
Well, I've gone a little bit higher than that because I think the momentum of promotion might see them in the early weeks of the season get a few decent wins. So I've got them down in 15th.
You know what? I'm inclined to agree with you because of the comments that I've had on the preview video. That I think I have probably undersold them a little bit. So if you're happy, Worko, we'll bang Bromley in 15th.
To play devil's advocate, though, fans will always back their own team to do
They
well,
will
even
indeed.
when you know it's a stinker of a season in real life. So there we go.
We'll look back at the end of the season and blame the Bromley fans for that.
Exactly. The Bromley bias. Go.
On to Carlisle United. So these come down in last place from League One, 30 points, come down with a bit of a whimper. The pretty much odds-on favourites to bounce straight back from what I've seen across a lot of things, but I don't believe they will. I've got them in 8th. I think it'll be a bit of a hangover. Losing is tough to get out of as kind of winning is. When you're on that winning run, it's easy to continue winning. And Donny have been in that place where we've just lost game after game after game, and it is really, really tough to lose that losing mentality. I think Carlisle might fall into that category this season, and it might take them a little bit of time just to switch it around, and then I think they'll be playing a bit of catch up. So I've got them down as just missing out on playoffs in 8th. What's your thoughts, Ian?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I'm absolutely delighted that they've kept the manager because it'd be so easy to sack him. I think there will be a relegation hangover, but I think they will steady. I think there's quite a bit of quality in that side, but I think they'll be top half, but I've got them down at 11th.
11th, okay. Work on.
That's really ironic because I was just thinking because of obviously the hangover of a relegation, and they might impact the sort of beginning few months of the season, and I've got them in 11th as well.
Yeah.
I think with 2 in 11th, that's made that choice, hasn't it?
Nucleus of the course, of the squad, then yeah.
I'm happy with that.
But I don't think it'll be a good start for them. But they'll pull it back.
It's all on that. It's all on that start, isn't it? If they start positively, then they could easily break that top 7.
Without a doubt, they could easily do it.
Yeah,
it's a very open division.
It is indeed. On to Cheltenham Town, Ian. Finished 21st on 44 points. Are they going to have a similar hangover to Carlisle?
Well, I don't think they'll have a similar hangover to Carlisle. I think it'll be worse than that, really. I really can't see them doing very much at all in League Two, although I do think they will survive. I think it'll be another difficult season, and I've got them down in 21st.
Wow. Work up.
I've got them down in 20th, or I think it was 20th. No, sorry, that was another team, wasn't it? No, 23rd. 23rd. Because of the similar reason. Emotionally as well, because they were giving us a lot of stick for the other year when you know it was a not so great result on our part when we were still in League One. But as I just with how much they were on a downward spiral last season, I can't see them. I can only see the mentality of the squad being similar, and just seeing them plummet this year as well. I can't see a bounce back from that particular squad, so I've got them 23rd.
So I had them in 15th. I don't think they're going to do particularly well, but I thought they'd stabilise in the division. Well, you guys have got them in and around this area. Do you say 20th, Ian?
I said 21st.
21st.
I said 20th, didn't you?
Originally 20th, and then I've realised I also said another team in 20th, so I've gone with 23rd. Yeah.
23rd. So give him 22nd, I think, in average.
I think we bang him in 22nd for now and see where that goes.
Yeah.
Just avoiding relegation at the moment, but things can change. On to Chesterfield. So work on Chesterfield.
I think they have a chance of very much challenging this year because they've recruited very well. Shay Dunkley, I think they've signed and I think Lee Gregory's another one. No, is not. What am I on about? That was no. Shay Dunkley,
Mansfield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. It's because he was rumored to be going. Yeah, anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Brain fart. But, yes. But I've got them in third place this year
Wow.
because I can see them pushing on. It seems like Dave Allen's learned that actually you can have a positive relationship with fans and back a club and not call them certain names under the sun. Like he did at a certain previous ownership of a club. So I can see them kind of pushing on. Because they've been quite frugal the last few years, and I can see them, finally making a bit of a push for higher up. So yes, third place.
There we go. Ian, do you agree with third?
Similarly, I echo everything that Worko says. I think they've got a fantastic manager in Paul Cook, and I've got them down in fourth. I think they will challenge strongly.
I'm just chuckling because Jake on one of his videos or streams, sorry, the other day, accidentally called him Paul Cock. And it was hilarious.
Accidentally?
Well.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So I've gone with Chesterfield in fifth. Very similar reasons to you guys. So fifth, fourth, and third. Stick them in fourth. It's nice and easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, there we go. Oh, and that takes me on to my nemesis, Colchester United, from last season. So I predicted Colchester in 23rd last season, got absolutely battered for it. They finished in 22nd and kind of limped over the line. It was just, they were fortunate that Sutton and Forest Green just simply looked like they didn't want to stay in the EFL. But I think under the Cowleys, a full pre-season under them, I don't think you can get much better managers at this level, to be honest. They've been there, they've done it. I think they're going to have a really positive season. I've got them exactly where they are now, in ninth on the table.
Oh, wow.
What about yourself, Ian?
I've got them in a better position than last season, but not as high up as ninth.
Yeah.
The Cowleys will build gradually like they did at Lincoln. And I've got them in 17th, which is probably disappointing for Collier fans, but it's a progression. It's an upward progression. So, yeah. 17th, I've got them.
Work up.
I actually agree. I agree with you, Dan, because just purely because of the Cowley brothers. I think they'll have it spot on in that league, and I can't see them having a bad start or anything. So I agree with ninth.
So with two in ninth, one low down. Shall we leave them where they are for now and shuffle it around in a bit?
Yeah.
Yep. Ian, on to Crewe. I'm glad I'm not talking about these.
Crewe, Crewe, funny animal, brilliant 1 week last season, absolutely awful the next. I think they'll suffer a playoff final hangover. But I think Lee Bells is a good coach. I think he'll probably have a little bit of a tail off from last season, so I've got them 12th.
Okay, I've got them down in 11th, but 11th and 12th are currently taken by teams that we've slotted in earlier in the video. Worko, what about yourself?
Forgive me if you can hear an ice cream van in the background. It's clearly summertime. I've got them in 8th, just purely because of the playoff hangover, but I don't think there'll be that much of a drop-off that it will totally discount them from a playoff push whatsoever. So that's why I've got them in 8th.
Shall we leave them in 10th for now, then?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I like this. I'm not having to move too much. On to my team, Doncaster Rovers. Worko, it's your turn.
Oh, well, you'll be happy, Dan. I've got them in 2nd. Because I just think the sheer mentality of the side from last year with defying the odds and doing the playoff push and only just kind of losing out, I think, because... sorry, but I do think the squad kind of bottled it in the semi-final game. And I just think there's the example of, right, you've actually done it now. You've got to the playoffs. Let's push harder. And the mentality of the coaching staff will be pushing them even harder, and I think they've recruited reasonably well on the basis of last season as well. So that's why I've put them that high up.
Lovely stuff. Would you agree with Worko, Ian?
I would exactly agree with Worko. I think they've probably got if not the best, but one of the best squads with covering all positions.
Yeah.
I do think they'll get automatic promotion, but I've put them in third.
And I agree with you, Ian. I've gone with third as well. I think it's going to be incredibly tight at the top. I think it's going to be incredibly tight across the division again. I don't think a team will run away with it. I don't think a team will be cut adrift at the bottom as well. But for me, losing in the semi-final, it wasn't too bad because I was on my honeymoon, so I just spent the next day in a hammock with a cocktail. So it was one of the more easier defeats to take, although it was an important one. But straight after, Grant McCann said that he spoke to the players and said, basically, speak to your agents, and if you're not wanting to come back and fight for the title, don't come back. And that to me screams volumes for the mentality and what we're hopefully going to see on the pitch. And we saw a little bit, me and Ian were watching Donny against Middlesbrough last weekend, and I thought in parts we went toe to toe with a very good Championship team. Ultimately got beaten by the quality of the Championship team, but really didn't kind of embarrass ourselves. And I think if we play like that against League Two teams and get that consistency, there's no reason we can't be top three this season. So yeah, looking forward to this one. On to Fleetwood Town. So came down last season, finished in 22nd on 43 points. Similar reasons for this position with the reasons that we gave for Carlisle and Cheltenham, and that's a bit of a relegation hangover. Charlie Adam as well, he's not an experienced manager, so he's still kind of cutting his teeth as well. So I've got them as steadying the ship, consolidating. I've got them in 14th, but we popped Barrow there, so I'm happy to go 16th or 13th for Fleetwood Town. I'll obviously we'll decide once you guys have put your positions in. So Ian, Fleetwood.
I've got them 16th. Because I think they'll suffer a bit of a relegation hangover. Also, there's ownership issues at that club, contract problems. I think they're in a little bit of a mess. And I really feel for Nappers because he's the Fleetwood fan to beat them all. But I think they'll survive. I think they'll survive comfortably. So I've got them in 16.
Work on.
Realistically, I think they're about 23rd because of the ownership issues, because of Charlie Adam as a manager. I can't see him particularly, I don't know. It's an unknown quantity a little bit because of just remembering how he was as a player as well. I can see him potentially losing the dressing room quite quickly because of his hot-headedness and things. But I've got them down in 24th because Captain Pugwash. No club deserves to be subject to that. But yes, I can't see the ownership issues and actual logic arguments as well. I've got them, but I can see them plummeting, like really plummeting. So, you know.
So
sorry,
with me and Ian going 16th, shall we agree 18th?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
A bit harsh, but you know.
We've got to give our opinions, haven't we? That's it.
Yeah.
That's what football's all about. On to Gillingham, Ian.
Gillingham, they started very well last season. They weren't scoring a lot of goals, but they were winning games. It tailed off a little bit towards the end, pretty disappointingly. But a decent League Two outfit, and Priestfield is a pretty daunting place to go when the home team are playing well. So I think they'll have a decent season, but I think they'll just miss out on the playoffs. So I've got them 8th.
Work on. Gills.
For similar sort of arguments about the consistency and that sort of thing, I've got them 13th where they are right now because they were very temperamental last season, and I can't really see much difference between, you know, in over the summer period and all that sort of thing. So I've just got them where they are right now, actually. Sorry.
So I've gone fans. A little bit higher than you guys. I've gone in 4th. I think they've recruited well. The managers, again, similar to who was it? There was a team earlier on. It's gone. Can't see them. They're not jumping out of the screen. But yeah, just having the manager for the pre-season, as well. I put them in 4th, so we're kind of evenly spread across the table. So I'm happy to slot them in that gap there for now.
Yeah.
We will see. Things may change. I think they will. Work out onto Grimsby.
Grimsby Town. I don't know. I want them to do. They're always the team that I want to do well. But I've got them in sort of 22nd because emotionally I want them to be higher because I quite like them as a club. But they were 21st last season, and I don't know about how well they'll do this season in comparison. So I've got them 22nd.
Yeah, Artell's a decent manager, isn't he? He can get stuff. He can get things out of players that other coaches and managers can't. It's good kind of bringing youth through. He did that at Crewe. So I've gone a little bit better. I've gone in 19th. I still think it may be a tough season for them though. What about yourself, Ian?
Well, I mean, it breaks my heart to say this because it's the mother of all away days, Grimsby away. It's a fantastic away day. But I just can't see the club doing as well as the fans might expect because they've got a good fan base down there as well. But I've got them in 23rd, and it really breaks me heart to say that. I think they will go down this year.
And you had them in 22nd, did you?
Third.
I had 22nd. Yeah, 22nd.
Right. So it's out of Cheltenham and Grimsby. We will argue the toss for those two towards the end of the video or towards the end of this table, but we'll pop Grimsby in there for now. Yeah, it'd be sad to see them go. I do, like I say, it's a decent away day. On to Harrogate Town. So a fantastic season last season. We predicted them in 22nd on the video. They finished 13th. They've got to stop punching above the weight at some point, haven't they? Surely they've been doing it for season after season, and I just think this season may be the one. I've got them in 20th. We're always predicting them to kind of be in and around that mix at the bottom. For the Harrogate fans, they'll be hoping that they overachieve and smash their expectations once again. But I just can't see it this season. I think it's a very competitive League Two table again. So yeah, I'm going a little bit lower than what they finished this season. I've got them in 20th. Ian, what about yourself?
I'm sorry to be the bearer of sad tidings, but I've got them rock bottom. Because they've lost a lot of players. They've recruited from the National League and below. Simon Weaver is a great coach. He's been there forever. He's done a great job with them.
Ian has stopped. Work up. What's your thoughts?
Yes. Well, I would agree with Ian. I would put them in, even though I've already got Fleetwood rock bottom, but I'd say 23rd. I'd probably put out of the current, after thinking about it as well with the current team selections and everything, I would have put them 23rd probably.
Yeah.
Just because of similar reasons that Ian has just said.
Or started to say.
And then
right.
crashed halfway through it.
Yeah, we will slot Harrogate in at the bottom, but like I say, there may be discussions towards the end about who goes down out of these 3 or 4. Moving on.
To get so many pelters in the comment section of like, oh, that worker, he knows nothing about League Two. He's not a proper football fan of the 72. Oh,
I think we'll all get them, mate, won't we?
Horse in the race, so to speak, for quite a long time down there. So
yeah, on to MK Dons. So
Dons.
These are my champions this season. I think they've recruited really well. They finished 4th last season. We had them in 3rd. I just think they'll push on this season, and I think they'll break the top 3. And I've got them top of the tree come the end of the campaign. What about yourself?
I've also got them winning the whole thing, not just because we love Jonathan to bits, but because actually they seem to be, as much as I hate it because they're franchise FC and all that jazz, but they're building a proper, like, a really good challenging squad and everything, and they're not. I think they've lost the label of Scott Twine FC now.
Yeah.
Well, obviously because he's gone, but also I think they've realised they need to kind of rely on each other as a whole team rather than just one intrinsic player in the squad.
Yeah.
So I think, they're going to go on and win the whole thing.
There we are. We're in agreement with
There
that
we go.
one. I don't think Ian agreed with that. I think
wonder if
he had them in the playoffs, maybe.
lost battery or something like that. And it's
He's missed his
power.
opportunity, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Oh,
Let's get him back in.
I
Here he
don't
is.
know. I've no
what
idea.
Marion.
You've not missed
What have
much,
I
mate.
missed?
We put Harrogate in 24th.
Yeah.
And both Worko and I agree that MK Dons are going to come top. But where would you place them?
I got MK Don 6th.
Oof. So, there may be an argument as we go on whether
Yeah.
Donny drop
Okay.
out, MK
Yeah.
Dons drop out. We will see.
Yeah.
Now you're back with us. Go with Morecambe, mate. Where have you got them? I've got them in 23rd, but obviously the bottom of the table is looking
Another
pretty
club that
congested.
are in a bit of strife
Yeah.
financially, ownership-wise, player contracts-wise. I don't think they'll go down, but I think they'll struggle. So I'm going down in 20th for Morecambe.
Work off Morecambe.
I would agree in 20th as well. For
Yeah.
the exact same reasons Ian's just said. Because ownership issues will always trump everything. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it seems like there's a lot of clubs in League Two that are having a few ownership issues this season. If
Yeah.
you read the headlines, it's quite sad, really, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah, it is very sad.
And then there's all
Moving
the
on to
Premier League
Newport,
teams doing
this-
all these funny little deals with each other to make sure they stay out of. Oh, anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But
Dodgy. A lot of them dodgy. Moving on to Newport. So this one, I found this one really tough. I've ended up putting them rock bottom in my prediction video purely because the manager is just an unknown. No player really jumped out of the page when I was looking at what they've recruited over the summer. And it just seems like it's going to go one way or the other. It's going to be an absolute masterstroke and they're going to do well, or it's just going to be an absolute catastrophe and it's just going to fall to pieces. So I ended up moving them 5 or 6 times, and I was just like, you know what, I'm putting my neck on the line. I'm going to say it's going to be a catastrophe, and they finished 24th. But on the 72 review table, obviously, it's very congested down at the bottom, so I think they may survive. Where have you got them, Worko?
I would say around the 20. I'm also mainly going off in agreement with, like, as we go along. Sorry, I forgot to prepare a table, so I'm going as we go along with what. Anyway, I would sort of put them about 21st for similar sort of reasons, that the manager's just a total unknown, but unknowns can pay off.
They can do indeed.
They can,
You
yeah.
know, so I'm slightly erring on the positive side there. So I've got them 21st, I'd say.
What
And
about
I've
yourself,
got
Ian? Are
them-
you on positive or negative side of this coin?
The positive, but only just. I've put them 22nd. I think they'll survive, but I think only just.
Right. They can slot in on that space there then.
There we go.
Easy. Next up is Notts County. Ian, if you want to take these, mate.
A big fish in this League Two pool. Really, real brilliant stadium, good fan base. They look like they were going to tear League Two a new one at the start of last season, but they tailed off really badly.
Yeah.
They've lost Langstaff. They've lost Bostock. They've lost one or two vital players for them, and they've recruited averagely, in my opinion. So I think it'll be a little bit of a tail off. I'm going 9th.
Okay, work up.
I would say 6th, because I think losing Bostock and Langstaff is actually going to galvanise the squad together a lot more, and they won't, for the same sort of reason as I was saying earlier with MK Dons. They're learning to not just be circling around specific individuals. I think they're going to play a lot more cohesively as a team, and there seems to be a lot of a very positive atmosphere around the club in general, even if they've recruited averagely and whatnot. So I think I'd probably say 6th actually for Notts County.
So I've gone 7th for Notts County. So are we happy that the break into the playoffs and we'll pop them there for now?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think there's a general consensus there. Yeah.
Yes.
Next up is Port Vale. Ian.
Port Vale are my champions because I think they've recruited exceptionally well. I think George Bias is a cheat code for League Two.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I think and they've recruited well in all other departments. They've got a fantastic ownership model there with a family ownership. They've got a potentially fantastic fan base as well. And I think if Vale do go on a roll, I think they'll take some stopping. So my champions.
Now we know who our champions are, Worko. We both went
Yes.
with MK Dons. Where did you put Vale?
I put them in second place because of, Darren Moore and his coaching staff as well. He's brought pretty much, other than the goalkeeping coach, I believe that's a different coach, but he's brought pretty much all of his Wednesday coaches with him that were at Huddersfield with him as well.
Yeah.
And with the sort of the project that he's building there, he's not going to coach a duff team, like he's going to get very good results out of those players, and particularly with who they've recruited as well. So I've got them second. I just think the MK Dons is edging it slightly because they've been in the division longer and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. So sorry, Ian, but you've been outvoted on this one. I went with second as well in my preview. Like I said earlier, though, I do think it's just going to be so tight. I think it's any one of probably 4 or 5 will break into the top 3 or potentially be in with a chance of the championship come the last couple of weekends of the season. So, yeah, I do think it's anybody's game. On to Salford. We'll go with Ian.
Salford are May, aren't they? The lower mid-table, they've obviously no longer Sky's little darlings like now Wrexham have arrived. The class of 92 haven't really pulled any trees up, as indeed hasn't the team. To be honest with you, they'll survive. They'll do what they always do, but I had them down in 18th.
Worko.
I had them 19th for the same sort of reasons, because I think I read somewhere actually that most of the class of 92 have actually sold their shares in the club now. They've abandoned
All right,
it.
yeah.
I think the only major one still there, I believe, is Paul Scholes.
Yeah.
But I think the majority of them have sodded off to, I don't know, buy a Range Rover Sport or something. But yeah, I would say 19th. I can't see that ownership or anything being very sustainable. And
No.
as Ian said, the Sky money's clearing up now because Wrexham have taken over as their little darlings.
So I went with 16th, but with you guys kind of being in and around this area and 19th being a space, we'll bang them in 19th. On to Swindon. Last season, finished 20th, had a really poor season. I do think it's going to improve for them, but I don't think it's going to improve massively. I've got them down in 17th. What about yourself, Worko?
I'm inclined to agree. I like them a bit because I've got family down that way and they always speak highly of it and that there's a good buzz around the city, around the town or whatever. Like there always is, to be honest. They're always very, I've noticed, largely very positive about things at the club, but I agree. I can't see them massively improving, just ever so slightly. So I've said I'm in agreement.
Well, I'm going to book the trend here. I'm going to say they're going to have an excellent season. I think the recruitment's been pretty good. I think they're a big club for this division, Swindon Town. They've got a good fan base. I think if they can go on a roll, I think they'll have a decent season. I've got them in 5th.
5th.
Yeah.
Do we think Tranmere or Walsall have got a better chance of getting the playoffs?
No, absolutely not.
You might make an argument for Walsall just because of where they finished last season, but I don't.
See, I'd be tempted with Tranmere with Adkins because they look really, really decent towards the end of last season.
Oh, is that where he is now?
Yeah.
Adkins.
Actually, I forgot about that. Yeah, definitely Tranmere. Yeah.
Tranmere more than Swindon.
Stick them in 13th, Swindon.
With the 3 that we've got left, I'd be leaning towards Tranmere for the final playoff spot.
Yeah. Well, I would actually. Yeah.
Which kind of puts Swindon as a default in there.
Yeah.
Kind of already agreed on Tranmere being in 5th, but I think that's
I got them second actually.
Oh. There you go.
I actually got Tranmere second because of the Nigel Adkins factor, and because nobody likes when a Prenton Park, and if they get most of their home games on a Friday night, like they did in the past, especially with this Sky TV deal. You know, playing Thursday night at 8 o'clock. It's not going to be nice. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Although, just to counter the whole Adkins factor, he really hasn't done a lot since he was the manager of Southampton. It's been very much a sort of downwards trajectory of his results and everything.
Yeah, but we're talking League Two here.
Then. But oh well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he can make a positive impact. And he actually, I mean, when he did take over Tranmere around about October, November time, they looked in terrible trouble.
Yeah, they did. And
so I think he pulled them out of the mire a little bit.
Yeah. And that leaves Walsall in 16th.
Yeah.
I think just at the minute, they're a safe kind of League Two mid-table team, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. I don't think they're going to trouble the playoff picture at all. So, yeah, I think 16th might be a little bit higher, but, yeah. Round about mid-table.
Lovely stuff. And before we lock it in, is there anything there that's jumping out that you massively disagree with?
No, not really. I think in a lot of clubs we had a general consensus.
Yeah.
I mean, there were one or two wild ones, but no, I think that I think we'll do okay. I think we'll do okay with those.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the bottom two, but I don't know if that's more hope than kind of expectation.
Yeah, because I wouldn't like to see either of those two clubs go down, but I just can't see past it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right, there we go. League Two locked in. We're hurtling up to the hour mark, so we've got 2 more divisions to go. So buckle yourself in, pause the video, go and get a drink, because we will now move on to League One. So yeah, take a screenshot of that. We will revisit it next season, at the end of this season. Sorry, but yeah, same process now through League One, alphabetical order. So yeah, don't worry, Wrexham or Wycombe fans, you are not going to be. 4 teams to go down. Let's sort this out. 1 second.
I mean, I may upset a couple of those fan bases with my prediction, but
oh dear.
Yes. Oh yes. There'll be the Wrexham
I think
guy
no matter
in the
what
chat
we do, we're going to upset some
happy.
fan bases somewhere along the line.
Yes.
Yeah, we are indeed. There we go, that's better. I thought I'd sorted that out, sorry. So we have now got the 4 relegation spots, the 2 promotion, automatic promotion, and then the 4 playoffs. So, Workhorse, you want to kick us off with Barnsley? Finished 6th last season.
I have got them in 7th because they've not managed to achieve promotion the last couple of seasons. Of course, I famously watched it happen live a couple of years ago, and that was quite enjoyable, so it's safe to say. But unfortunately for that Callum Fowler guy, 123rd minute. Unfortunately, that Callum Fowler guy, if he watches this, will not be very happy. But yeah, I've got them in 7th because there's too much hangover of back-to-back failures sort of thing. So
I'm in the exact same position as you. I've got them in 7th. Ian, what about yourself? Even though you've been outvoted and they will go in 7th, where would you put them?
Further down in, I've got them slightly further down in 9th for the exact same reason, and they've lost Devante Cole today as well.
Have they?
Yeah.
Tell you what, we'll shuffle him into 8th.
He's gone to, but he's gone. Yeah. So yeah, 8th's fair.
We'll staying down for the Dingles. Oh boy.
We'll shuffle him into 8th. That may change once we're about to lock the table in. Ian, on to Birmingham City.
Oh, you mean HMS Pistol League? Right. Strap yourself in, blow noses. I don't think you'll win the title. I think you'll go up. I don't think you'll think it's as easy as you do think it is, but they've recruited really well.
Yeah.
I'll leave them where they are in 2nd.
Work up.
I'd agree. There's too many new signings for them to gel quickly enough to really steamroll the league. I think because it's obviously good to make a lot of new signings with big amounts of money and all this sort of stuff, and them being too good for the league, blah blah blah. But you need to have a gelling period when you've got that many new faces in. They're not going to all know exactly where each other's running and where to pass to and all that sort of stuff straight away. So I've got them second place because they've spent too much money to not kind of go up.
Yeah. I had them down in third. I think it's going to be, like you said, Ian, tougher than what they're expecting. It's a very tough division. I don't think there's a division in England that's easy, to be fair. But yeah, general consensus is second, so we'll leave them there. It saves me a job of moving them about as well. So on to Blackpool. Finished 8th last season. I think with the quality that's come down from the Championship and also the quality that's gone up from League Two, I think it's going to be a tougher season in League One. I'm actually glad that Donny bottled the playoffs, because looking at the lineup for this season in League One, I'd be concerned. I think we'd survive, but I'd be worried about kind of going on a little bit of a bad run. So with Blackpool finishing in 8th last season, I think it's going to be a little bit of a backward step. I've got them in 9th. What about yourself, Ian?
Slightly higher up. I think they'll just miss out on the playoffs. I've got them 7th. They're a good squad. They'll get some hidings out at Bloomfield Road, but I think consistency will catch up with them. So I think they'll just miss out 7th.
Okay, wake up.
I've got them also in 7th, because I can see that they'll have made a progression and everything from last season, and I do think they've got what it takes to kind of battle the amount of teams that will be up there challenging this year. So yeah, 7th.
There we go. And you can carry on with Bolton, Worko.
Bolton, I've got them in 3rd, because they've recruited well and they've got a very good record, and they just missed out. It was them, wasn't it, against Cambridge? Yes, of course it was. And they just missed out, and I can see them getting to another playoff final this year, personally, because I just think they've got the mentality for it, really, to battle it out with even with the bigger names that have dropped down and all that sort of thing. So yeah, 3rd.
3rd, Ian, Bolton.
I think Worko's been copying my own work. I've got them here, actually. I've got them where they are now. I've got them where they are now because they're a very, very good squad, and they just seem to be eternal bottlers. I mean, they looked odds on for automatic
from
for a
Derby
lot of
County
last season. So, yeah.
Now, I've been a bit kinder to Bolton Wanderers. I've got them as my title winners. I think they will go on and push on from last season. I know sometimes you get the playoff hangover when you've been beaten in playoffs, but I do think they've got something about them, the fan base behind them. I think there's potential there for pushing on. They were in touching distance for a large part of last season. So will they have enough to push it one step further? I believe so, but with us being kind of 1st, 3rd and 4th, we'll smack and bang in the middle.
Yeah.
On to Bristol Rovers, Worko.
I would probably have them exactly where they are right now, because I mean, they've recruited very well. They've got a very good squad. A lot of people, especially 2 years ago, really didn't see them doing as well as they did, and they surprised a lot of teams. Even us, even Sheffield Wednesday, they surprised them quite a lot. And yes, they've lost their left winger, who was quite integral for them. But I forget his name now. He's gone to a Championship club. But anyway, I've got them in 5th because I think they're going to be real pushes this year, to try and get up there.
I think it'll be a shock when I tell you where I've got them, Ian.
I think it'll be a shock when I tell them where I've got them as well. I don't think you've been copying this one, Worko. I've got Bristol Rovers down in 18th. For a simple reason that they've got a fairly talented squad, but they've got a manager that is so negative and so pragmatic. And when Matt Taylor was with us, he was setting out in away games for a 0-0 draw, and for home games trying to sneak a 1-0 win. And I don't think his mentality will change that much. So I think they'll be okay. I think they'll survive fairly comfortably, but I don't think they'll trouble the leaderboard, if you like. 18th.
So I'm not quite as bad as you, Ian. I've gone 17th, but for similar reasons. I just feel like Taylor's a bit like the League One Southgate and can
Yeah,
suffocate
absolutely.
talent. And I think that's where they'll potentially fall down. But with that big gap in predictions, are we going kind of 12th, 13th? We'll go in the middle.
Yeah, go in the middle somewhere. Yeah.
Stick them bottom of the top half.
You could argue, however, just to plead the case with how high I am compared to you two.
No,
you
it's
could
gone
argue
work out.
that might have been. It's done. Okay.
No, carry on.
just because I think the Rotherham squad that Matt Taylor was managing may have had a lot of attitude issues, and that might have also been an issue. Reason
possible, but
why he couldn't manage them.
He certainly did. He certainly did lose the dressing room. That is for certain. That can't be argued. But yeah, his style of play was just so negative. It was just awful to watch.
This might be the one this season that Worko comes back and goes, "Told you so."
Told you.
Ian, Burton Albion just survived last season, 20th. I've got them
Now there's been
just dropping down in 21st.
On Twitter and on social media, there's been a lot of positivity built up about Burton Albion, but unfortunately, I don't share it. I think they're eternal strugglers. They just seem to do enough, a little bit like Shrewsbury Town, just do enough to survive.
Yeah.
But I think they'll buy it this season. I really do think they'll struggle badly. So I've got them bottom. I've got them 24th.
Worko, are you as harsh?
Well, to an extent, but I've got them 15th because they play with the sort of football they play. They will definitely survive. Put it that way. It won't be pretty. It won't. The condition of their pitch as well undoes a lot of teams. I can just see them just existing in the league. They won't go up. They won't go down. They'll just be coasters, So yeah, 15th. I've said.
So I've got them in just going down in 21st.
Oh.
But I'm happy to slot them in the eternal survivors, like you said, Ian, where they just managed to do just enough.
Yeah, that's fine.
But let's see towards the end of this section of the video, if there's anybody else that's kind of in that bottom four that we think might just have enough to overtake Burton, maybe, or if there's any teams higher up that could drop down as well. Next up is Cambridge. Ian?
Again, they just survived last season, did really well to survive, especially the last month of the season. But I can't see the struggles ending, and I've got them relegated in 22nd.
I've also gone 22nd, so we've got their place. But Worko, where would you have put them?
It's unanimous. I've also got them 22nd.
Is that the first one that we've all agreed on?
That's the first one, yeah.
That's nice and easy. Charlton Athletic, Worko, take them away.
I have got them in 10th because they didn't have the greatest of endings to the season last year. I don't think. Yes, they've recruited. Some can argue they've recruited somewhat well. However, knowing one of them is Tariq Backinson and knowing what his mentality is like, I could understand that the mentality of other players they may have signed might be a little bit similar in that they don't have much work rate, and so I've got them in 10th. I think they're too good to sort of coast mid-table-y sort of area, but I think that they won't get, they'll be
Might
up
flirt with the top
there.
six,
They'll
maybe.
be battling, but they'll be, yeah.
Would you agree, Ian?
I've got them slightly higher. I've got them in 6th place, the last playoff spot, because I think they've recruited well. I think they're a big club for this division. I think it could be argued that they're a championship club in waiting. They've got a good management structure. They've got a great fan base, and I think they'll challenge this season. So I put them 6th.
I went slightly higher than that. I went 5th. So we've got Crawley in 9th, Exeter in 10th, Barnsley, Blackpool.
I'm happy to concede 6th if you want to put them playoffs and everything.
That's easy. Sorted. Next up, we've done Blackpool, Barnsley, Crawley Town. Who just took Charlton? You started on Charlton, didn't
I
you?
started on Charlton, I think. Yes.
Ian Crawley.
This, I think, will be the one that we'll all agree on. I'm going 23rd and relegated because they've lost virtually the entire team that got them promoted. They've got players going here, there, and everywhere. All the recruits seem to have come from non-league. I just can't. I think it'll be a one-season wonder in League One. 23rd.
Worker.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
I was slightly worse off. I put them rock bottom, but we'll go with the consensus in 23rd.
Yeah,
which gives me an headache for my rock bottom, but I will. We'll get there. On to Exeter. So finished 13th last season. Started really well, and then kind of just hit speed bump after speed bump, didn't they? I'm sure they're up in the top 6 for a short period, weren't they, at the start of the season?
Yeah.
Or am I dreaming that?
It's a very hard place to go down there at St James's Park.
But I'm not sure if the stay in League One is starting to wear thin a little bit, and I think they may go backwards from last season. I've got them in 20th, but we put Burton there, so I was kind of bottom end of the table, so anywhere between 20th and 17th for me. They're kind of in that area, so I'm quite happy to move with 20th already being taken to wherever you guys think. So Worko, Exeter.
I put them 17th for a similar sort of reason, hangover of being in League One a bit too long.
I've put them 16th.
Right.
So there's a general consensus about, bottom end, bottom third.
Yeah. We'll bang them there for now. And that takes us on to Huddersfield Town, I believe. Yeah, Huddersfield Town, Worko.
I've got them 5th because as much as their owner's a lunatic, much like the Birmingham owner, I think they're a little bit more keen on listening to football experts and not just going for brand. So I would say 5th, because I think they're building a bit more of a cohesive team together rather than just let's just splash the money, guys. That's all it's about. Yeah,
that was good. I can see why you're on Fallout.
Thank you.
We'll get that plug in there for you again. Ian, Huddersfield.
Huddersfield Town, get this, are my League One champions.
Ooh.
Mainly because of the reasons Workill gives, that their owners do listen to football people, and also they've recruited superbly. Yes, all right, they were only playing Guiseley in the Northern Premier League, but they took them apart. They won 7-0. It could have been 17-0. They looked exceptionally good. They've looked strong in all areas. Champions for me.
And I went 4th. I think they're going to have a really good season, but my champions in Bolton are in 3rd. I think they're in and around this area, and I think it's going to be very similar to League Two, where it's down to the last couple of weekends, maybe even the last weekend, where any one of 3rd, 4th, or 5th could sneak into that second spot potentially. So for now, bang them in the middle-ish.
Yeah, that's fine for now.
Yeah. Leyton Orient. Take it away, Ian.
Great season, first season back up last season under Mr. Wellens. I think they've surprised a few people. I'm not sure how they've recruited in the summer, but I think they've kept the majority of the squad together. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be absolutely fine, but I don't think they'll trouble the scorers. So I'm going to say 17th.
Work up.
I put them in 16th for a similar reason. I think they did I think there was probably the momentum aspect as well of just being promoted, got them 11th. Steady ship kind of thing, I would say. Still a positive feeling. So I put them in 16th.
So we've got 16th. What did you go again, Ian? Sorry?
I said 17th. So.
Right, Exeter's in 17th, so that's that done. I went with 15th, so I'm quite happy to drop them down.
Yeah, so we're more or less in agreement, aren't we? Yeah.
Worko on to Lincoln City, mate.
Lincoln
Finished
City, I
7th
think
last season.
I would probably say they're 9th, because I think I think there's too many teams challenging this year for them to maybe compete with, especially when there's like Birmingham and I hate to say the name, but Wrexham, you know, and there's not slander. Like I will explain why I'm saying anyway. But yeah, I'd say 9th because they've got a good side, they play well together. Just don't think with the competition it's their year this year to do it, but they will challenge.
I'm similar to you on that one, mate. I've gone slightly lower. I've gone in 11th purely because of the competition and the money more than anything that's in League One this season. So we've got 9th and 11th. Ian, you're going to say 10th?
Slightly lower, 14th. I've gone 14th because of the strength of the division and because of the financial aspect and everything. But there'll absolutely be no danger of them slipping towards the relegation area. They're a joy to watch when they're on form, Lincoln. So, yeah 14th.
Right, I'm going to leave them where they are for now. Because looking at the teams that are coming up, I think there's some big hitters that we've not placed anywhere where I think they're probably going to go. But we will shuffle stuff about if we need to. On to Mansfield, Ian.
Mansfield, absolutely superb last season. Attacking wise, they were a joy to watch. They were knocking goals in for fun. At one stage last season, I think they scored 21 goals in 3 home games. That Keeler Dunn is a really good player. They've got a good manager in Nigel Clough. I can't see him struggling, but I can't see him challenging either. So I've gone 15.
So I've gone 16th, but obviously 16th is currently taken by Leyton Orient. Worko, whereabouts?
I've got them exactly where they are right now because of exactly what Ian's just said. I had the same sort of thinking behind it. So
we've got 14th, 15th, and 16th. So well done, Mansfield. You got smack bang in the middle. On to Northampton. So for me, they finished. When did they finish last season? 14th last season. I just think the competitiveness of League One and how tough it's going to be. I can only see it going one way for Northampton, and I think they're going to go down. I mean, we've got 21st. I've got them in 23rd, but we've got 21st and 24th there. I think out of 2.
I think they'll survive, but I think they'll survive by the skin of the teeth. I've got them 20th.
What about you, Worko?
I said 21st. I said the top of the relegation spots.
Right. So they're here for now.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be an argument about Northampton or Burton before we lock this table in. On to Peterborough, Worko.
Peterborough, I think there's some playoff hangover here. I have put them in, well, they were my... I'd probably say 14th, because I'm now kind of going slightly on what I predicted, but also I'm being pragmatic with what standings there are now. I'd probably say 14th, because I just think playoff hangover. They've lost a lot of key players from, especially the last 2 years ago. I don't think they've kept up their strength, really.
Yeah, not recruited enough.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
It's gone to Rotherham, I believe, the striker.
To be honest with you, they'll always be there or thereabouts, Will Posh. They've got a Ferguson, a manager that's done it and been there and bought the T-shirt. They always seem to recruit well from non-league and sell them for a profit. I've got them down at 5th.
So I've gone 6th, but with Worko's playoff hangover, I think we'll go kind of in this area and shuffle them about should we need to a little bit later on. So that leads us to Reading. Ian.
Reading were great last season. They did absolutely fantastic. To say that all the points deductions and the ownership issues that have incidentally not gone away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They're a potentially massive club. but the internal strife and toil has taken the toll, and I think they'll suffer with it this coming season. A decent squad that play well and they can be very good on the day, but I've put them down in 13.
Worko?
I need. The problem was I looked at Reading with such rose-tinted glasses because they're effectively my little team because of familial connections and all sorts. So I originally had them in 5th place, but then Ian's just explained that, and it's actually changed my mind. So I've got them as sort of maybe 12th, because I think the squad that they're building is excellent. The manager is excellent. I mean, I'm surprised that he's gone to a League One.
Excellent manager. Yeah.
I'm surprised he's gone to a League One club actually. But yeah, I'd say maybe 11th to 14th within that range. I will let you decide.
So I'm in the deciding vote. I'd already predicted them to be 14th, and that space is open. So I think they just fill
There
it.
we go.
For similar reasons to what Ian said, really. The off-field issues, they'll always find the way onto the field and make it a difficult season for them. I hope they don't have such a challenging season as what they had last season. But yeah, finishing 17th, I think they will progress from that and steady progression and move up to 14th.
I mean, hey, at least they've not lost out on their Premier League standard training facilities to them in Wycombe Wanderers down the road, eh?
There is that.
They were talking of that, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although we've just taken Reading, Ian, I'll let you stay on because next is Rotherham. How are you going to do this season?
It's quite exciting actually. With we've got 13 new signings. Whether they're going to gel or not is anybody's guess. We seem to have recruited well, and the newbies are showing up well in the pre-season games. Steve Evans will make us more competitive. He will get us to win games. We won't have that losing mentality that we had last season will go away. I think we'll have a better season. I don't think we'll go up. In fact, I'm praying that we don't, and I'll tell you why. Because we are every time we go into the championship, we go into it unprepared, if you know what I mean. We go into the championship with a League One squad, and it never ends well. So I think we'll have a decent season, and I've put us down for 8th.
I think you've undertold yourself there, mate.
Yeah.
I've got you down as 2nd. I think the recruitment you've done is great. I think obviously they need to gel. In a manager in Steve Evans, I hate him. Absolutely despise the bloke, but you can't get away from the fact that he's a good manager. And because of the Steve Evans effect and the recruitment that you've done, I had you in 2nd. I think you'll go straight back up. But like you say, it's one of those things where you probably don't want to, because every time you go up, it's difficult to compete at that level, and you come straight back down. So yeah, I think 8th's a bit harsh. Where did you put them, Worko?
You're very welcome, Ian. I put Rotherham in 1st place because even though I absolutely, honestly, Steve Evans is the manager I hate the most out of every. I hate him even more than Chris Wilder. Somehow, someone's actually surpassed that in my head. But I think, frankly, the squad will be scared. Forgive my language, but they'll be scared shitless about what happens if they lose a game. They've recruited absolutely ridiculously well. They started early as well, which means they've had plenty of time to gel during the pre-season.
Yeah,
so
we've
they
had
won't
a
have
full
the same
pre-season.
issues, as other teams might have done. So I've put them in 1st place to win the league because I just think the manager's got the dogged attitude of you better win, son, otherwise I'm beating you to a pulp sort of thing. Hairdryer treatment. And yeah, I've got them in 1st place.
So if we slot them in 5th, because Ian's not wanting playoffs, I went 2nd, you went 1st, and we'll see.
I wouldn't mind playoffs. We're
when you were just hovering, that was so funny. You were hovering it down.
After Rotherham is Shrewsbury. Worko takes Shrewsbury away. They are currently exactly where I predicted them. They finished 19th last season. I think they'll be 19th this season, but where do you think they're going to be?
Guess what? I've predicted them 19th as well.
Oh. Well, there was an argument in my head to be slightly lower than that because they've lost Shea Dunkley. And I think he was quite integral to their side last year. But I'd probably say the same, to be honest. I'd probably say
The
same.
thing is,
19th.
Shrewsbury know how to survive in League One. They've done it for donkey's years.
Yeah.
Look at that, it's unanimous. Crikey.
There we go.
Yeah.
19. Ian, Stevenage. Take Stevenage away. I've got them in the space which currently, it's an unoccupied space in 18th. The tail off.
Unfortunately, because they're another one that's a great little football club, and they've got one of my Miller's heroes as managers, Alex Ravel. I think they'll suffer a hangover from last season, which they did exceptionally well.
They did.
They were everybody's tip to go down last season. Unfortunately, this season, they're my tip to go down 21st.
21st. What about you, Wicker?
I've got 18th, just because, again, similar to with just the hangover of the push last year, I can't see it being a sustainable effort for them. So I've got 18th.
So we've got 2 in 18th. I don't think this is going to get locked in straight away. On to Stockport. So fantastic season last season, up as champions. I think they'll do well in League One, but I don't think they'll be touching playoffs or flirting with playoffs. I originally had them down as 8th, potentially in and around it, but looking at the spaces that we've got and the teams that we've got left, I'm thinking maybe 10th. What about you, Ian?
Well, from Conference North to League One in 5 years, under Challenger, I can't see this roller coaster stopping anytime soon. I think they'll do exceptionally well, and I've got them in 3rd.
Wow. Worker?
You see, because of obviously the Reading placement, they were my 14th place. So I've got them in 14th because I just don't think, for a similar reason that I'll be putting another certain team not in the top 6. It's too quick. It's too quick of a rise somehow. Yeah. And I just can't. I think they need a couple of maybe a year or two of consolidation if they want to push on even further. So that's why they're my 14th place.
Dream of consolidation.
Are we happy with 10th for that one then? Because kind of we've got playoffs, mid-table, upper mid-table, so in and around that area. And that takes us to Wigan Athletic. So we've got Wigan. Oh no!
Oh, hello.
Didn't want that. We've got Wigan, Wrexham, and Wickham left. 3 places left. We have got 1st, 11th, or 24th for these 3 teams. Now, do we think any of those 3 teams are going to win the table, win the league?
No.
I'd agree with you. So, looking at this point here, which out of those is probably most likely to take top spot? I went with Bolton originally. I think, Ian, did you go?
Oh, sorry.
My champions were Huddersfield.
And yours, Worko?
Mine were Rotherham.
Oof.
I would probably concede to Huddersfield because I just think they've bought smartly, I suppose. But then again, so have Rotherham. So
I'm happy to concede to Huddersfield as well. If nothing else, to make Anthony happy.
Yes.
So if you shuffle them up, can we see
Patrick Stewart, a hero of mine's team? So I'll happily say Huddersfield as the winner.
Can we see any of those 3 break in the top 6?
Yes.
Again,
I could imagine Wigan. Sorry if I cut in a bit too early with that.
That's all right.
But...
Yeah, I've got Wigan 10th.
Oh.
See, I had Wigan 12th. I've got them mid-table.
Oh.
So you could put Wigan 11th, couldn't you? Really?
Right. So them 2 are slotting up.
Yeah.
Breaking into the playoffs, we've got Blackpool, Barnsley, Peterborough, Stockport, Wigan, Wrexham. What are we thinking? I'd probably say out of those, potentially Peterborough.
I would err more on the side of Blackpool just because of how many key players Peterborough have lost from their previous attempts.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. That.
There we go. We've got the majority on that one. Blackpool, well done. You have bumped up to 6th. Okay, Wigan, Wrexham, Wickham, any of those just missing out on playoffs, finishing mid-table?
Well, I'll tell you what I've got. Right, I've got Wigan in 10th. I've
Yep.
got Wickham in 12th, and I've got Wrexham in 11th. So 10th,
You're
11th,
not far
and
off of
12th.
mine here, and I've got Wrexham 10, Wigan 12, Wickham 13. So mine are clumped kind of mid-table as well.
Yeah.
What about you,
Well,
Wickham?
it's pretty much unanimous of me and Ian saying Wrexham 11th.
Yeah.
But I would have said, actually, in hindsight, maybe. Oh, if we're going on the table as it is right now, moving teams around, I hate to do it, but I would bump Barnsley up to 7th. And I'd maybe put in, well, maybe Peterborough as well, and then put in Wickham in the 9th spot, and then I'd err on what you two think with Wigan.
Okay, so I'm happy with that side of the table.
12th. I think Crawley can move down to bottom, don't you think?
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Cambridge, 22nd or 23rd?
22nd. I think they're all right where they are.
So Crawley down. So now we're looking Northampton, Burton, Shrewsbury.
I'd put Stevenage down there in the bottom 4.
Mm.
I honestly would.
What, as low as 23rd?
Probably if you move Northampton and Cambridge down one and then slotted Stevenage in 21st.
Would you agree with that,
Yeah, I'd be happy with that, I reckon. Yeah.
So I had Northampton and Cambridge 22nd and 23rd respectively. So the opposite way around that we've got them now. So
yeah.
And put Stevenage in that last relegation spot.
Yeah, I had Stevenage down in 18th. I think they are going to struggle. Now, I don't think Wigan, I've got them in 12th, so I think 18th's pretty harsh. So are we looking at moving these down?
Down, yeah.
Down?
Yeah.
Which then leaves a spot in 13th for Wigan.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, I reckon.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
Took a bit of shuffling about.
Yeah.
But not sure about Stevenage, you know. I think it might be Burton for you to go down.
That. Yeah.
See, I
Somebody's
don't know. I'd probably hardline the defence of Burton being where they are, because I just think they can play ugly enough to survive. Because they're one of those teams that will just bore you to sleep with their negative long ball, hoof ball sort of stuff, and then get you when on the counter when you're asleep, sort of thing.
You know what? This one might be mine at the end of the season when Stevenage absolutely ripped the league to pieces again and survived. And I told you so. But no, I'm happy to lock that in. Huddersfield champions, Birmingham second, Bolton, Rotherham, Charlton, Blackpool as the playoffs, and unfortunately Stevenage, Northampton, Cambridge and Crawley see themselves playing League Two football in the 25-26 season according to our predictions.
And oh no, we've not predicted Wrexham to go immediately up and win the whole thing yet again for Disney Plus and the documentary. But yeah,
it's possible.
I think they're hitting a bit of a wall now. They're like, oh no, we can't actually spend stupid amounts, and oh no, our squad age is a really, really high age, and
they've got to get to a ceiling at some point, and then they're going to have to reinvest and push on again. I think this is really a good season to kind of steady up and then go again next season.
Hate to say it, I don't think I think Phil Parkinson's reached his ceiling a little bit with this sort of league position as well.
There'll be a lot of managers that won't be there in May. A lot of managers.
Yeah. So there you go. Take a screenshot of that. Laugh at us. Get in the comments down below if you're a fan of any League One team. Tell us why we've not got your team in the right position, or tell us why we have got it in the right position. Same with the League Two teams. If you've stuck with us for this almost an hour and a half, we will try and get through the Championship in half an hour, 45 minutes before we round the video off, because then it will be a very long episode. But it always is when we're predicting the table. We're doing pretty well though. We've only shuffled League One around a little bit. We are agreeing on the majority of things.
I think we agreed with League Two more than League One.
Yeah, there was no shuffling about in League Two,
No.
was there? But we will see. I think Championship's going to be just as tough as League One to predict, I think. And we're starting with one that is, it could cause a bit of uproar. Blackburn finished 19th last season. I don't think they're going to do any better this season. I actually think they're going to do worse and drop down into League. No, I think they're just going to survive. I've not done these tables very well this year. Sorry.
Yeah, crikey.
I don't know what I've done there. We've got the table right though. I think they're just going to survive. I've got them in 21st. What about you, Ian?
One place lower and relegated, 22nd. I really do, because I don't think they'll keep Smodics. I don't think he's gone yet, but I know the other striker has gone to Stoke. What's his name? Big lad. Can't remember.
Sam Gallagher. Yeah.
Sam Gallagher, has gone to Stoke.
Very decent big bloke. Yeah.
I think they've lost a lot of big players. I mean, even through, when Wharton went in January, he was a big boost to fill, really. I think they'll struggle 22nd.
And of course, their owners are wrapped up in a court case as well, which means they're in a lot of legal and financial trouble right now. So I would agree. I'd say 21st. Oh, sorry, 22nd. 22nd. Yeah.
2-on-1. They're in 22nd. Sorry, Blackburn Rovers fans watching. You might be able to take some sort of solace away that we're the ones predicting it, so it probably won't happen. But that's where we've got you. Moving on to Bristol City. Ian finished 11th last season.
There's two teams in this division that are always there. They never move. They never go for a playoff push. They never go for relegation. And one of them are Bristol City.
Yep.
I've got them down in 16th. I think they'll be lower mid-table and just surviving comfortably.
I've gone a little bit lower. I've gone in 19th. So we're kind of in this region here, unless Worko says that they're going to win the table.
Oh, no. I've got about 15th for similar sort of reasons as Ian. I think they had some quite key players a couple of years ago, but they were lone players. And I don't know if they've recruited as strongly as the team that they had a couple of years back. And I'd say 16th would be a good position in my head.
There they are. And you can continue Worko with Burnley. Down from the Premier League, finished 19th. Absolutely ripped it to pieces the season before. Are they going to do the same this time?
I think they are. I think they're one of those teams that effectively they are a team equivalent of Dwight Gale back in the day. They're too good for the Championship, but they're sort of not quite Premier League stable Premier League anyway just yet.
Yeah.
So I just think they're going to do the same again. Repeat measure.
Got them as champions.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm a bit concerned with Company leaving. How that's going to shape Burnley, how they're going to set up tactically, what sort of football they're going to play. And I think the style of football that Company had them playing last time really lent itself to Championship and kind of made them so successful. So I'm just a little bit concerned with him leaving, how if they've recruited somebody similar in terms of kind of style play and
Scott
shape.
Parker. They've got Scott Parker in.
He's okay.
Of course, yeah. He managed it with Bournemouth, didn't he, very well?
So it's potential.
Yeah.
Well, that to me kind of solidifies my prediction of second. I just don't think they're going to have enough. It's going to really pain me to tell you who's going to be first when we get to them. I think you can already guess that being a Donny fan. But I'm going Burnley in second. What did you go with, Ian?
I went third, where they are now. I don't think they'll have quite enough to trouble the top two, but obviously I'm outvoted, so that's fine.
Well, first, second, and third, we slot them smack bang in the middle.
There'll probably be a debate later on about the stuff.
The may well move. On to Cardiff. I wish Lee was here because he banged the drum for Cardiff last season, and we outvoted him. We put them quite low down, and they did all right. They finished in 12th, bang mid-table. I think they're going to do something similar this season. I've got them a little bit lower. I put them in 16th, but Bristol City have just taken that, so I'm kind of happy anywhere in and around this area. Based on your two guys' predictions for them, I've gone 16th in and around that sort of range. Worker.
I mean, literally fresh off the press today, they've signed Anwar El Ghazi on a free from Mainz. So Vincent Tan's pulled that one out of the bag. Jesus. So I think they've recruited reasonably well, so I've got them 11th.
Ian?
I've got them slightly lower than that, but I agree that guy from Mainz is quite a player. But I've got them as low as 20th.
Ooh.
So shall we slot them smack bang in the middle where Portsmouth are, 15th?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And we'll shuffle them about should we need to later in the video. On to Coventry. Ian.
Is it my turn? Sorry.
It is.
I've got a lot of time for Mark Robins. I think he's done an exceptionally good job at Coventry. I think the cup run last season really interfered with the league progress. But they've got a really exciting squad that play football the right way. Ellis Sims started scoring goals last season for fun. They have lost a couple of players. They've lost Callum O'Hare, which will be a little bit of a blow. But I still think they're very, very strong, and I've put them 6th.
Work up.
I, similarly to Ian, I've put them 12th just because based on largely their position last season, and they've lost Callum O'Hare, who was quite integral to a lot of their final third efforts and things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've necessarily recruited as well as they could have done. So I've got them in 12th.
And I've gone similar to Ian. I've actually got them in 4th, a little bit higher. I thought the push on from last season's 9th place finish.
The outlier again. Crikey.
But we will go kind of middle between all of them, which would be around 9th.
Yeah.
And we will have a shuffle around later if there's teams left over down there, like with the Watfords and West Brom. If we're struggling for a place, I'm sure we'll end up shuffling around. So at the minute, Coventry are in 9th, in between our predictions. Worko.
Yes.
Derby County.
My favourite team.
I didn't plan it, honestly.
I have actually got them 23rd because I don't think they've recruited well enough to survive at all. It's Paul Warne, and he does play survival football in the Championship, but I can't. Their owner hasn't particularly been able to back them very well. They're not in the EFL business plan thing that they set out for them anymore. But even having said that, I think they'll be in a similar predicament to what we were last season, where they'll be rock bottom for so long, try and mount a survival push, but I think the 23rd.
I agree with you with the position in the table, mate. I've gone 23rd. I think the jump from National League to League Two is narrowing, and I think we see so many teams be successful in League Two. You look at Grimsby, Stockport. I know Wrexham and Notts County have got some money behind them, but you look at previous seasons with other clubs that have come up from the National League into League Two, they do so well. And then I think from League Two to League One, you get one or two, a handful kind of do well, but then some struggle towards the bottom of the table. I just think that the gap between League One and Championship, I think it's greater than
massive. It's massive.
Yeah, I think it's greater than the gap between the Championship and Premiership, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think if you recruit well, going up from the Championship to the Premiership, you've got a chance of staying up. I think sometimes even if you recruit well at this level, because of the sheer amount of money floating around in the Championship, it's just so difficult to compete. So yeah, I've got them in 23rd as well. What about you, Ian, for Derby?
I've got them slightly higher. I've got them surviving in 19th.
Right,
I think it will be a survival fight for Warney. but they've got a reasonably good squad. I've got them. I think they'll survive, but I think it's going to be very, very tough.
Right, we'll spot them smack bang in the middle.
There will
for now.
definitely be a lot of upset Derby fans in the comments, because one that's a friend of mine actually said to me, dead serious and everything, that besides Leeds, Derby are the biggest club in the Championship. Now, if you tell me that that's the case, looking at all of those teams that are in this league this year,
Absolutely not.
and they were dead serious as well about it. They weren't just saying.
I don't think they're even in the top 5, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. So
Sunderland,
us saying that they'll do because they're all convinced that it will be like a 7th place, 6th place finish, and there's going to be a lot of upset Derby fans in the comment section for this.
To be fair, in terms of fan base, they are pretty decent, aren't they?
Yeah, they are Derby. I like going there. Yeah.
Oh, they copy a lot of other clubs' songs and sing them well when they copy them. So it's.
Well, there's a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
Bear in mind, I'm used to like 3,000 to 6,000 people, so anything over that, I'm like,
giants,
wow.
By the way.
Where are we? Derby, Hull. So Hull City finished 7th last season. Having watched the highlights only and a couple of videos from our pre-season friendly with them, I know you can't really take a lot out of pre-season friendlies. It's more to do with match fitness and kind of working on shape and everything. But the overriding kind of theme from videos from the Hull City side was that the strength in depth just isn't there. And in the Championship, it is relentless. Game after game after game. If you've not got strength in depth, you're going to struggle. So I think it's going to be a drop-off. I think they're ridiculous for getting rid of Rosenior. I thought he was doing a really good job and building something at Hull City. So I've got them dropping off, and I've got them in 15th this season. So yeah, almost kind of doubled the position, rather than down to 14th, down to 15th. But Cardiff are occupying 15th at the minute, so I'm happy to drop them where Plymouth are in 14th, depending on your guys' predictions. So Hull City, Ian?
To be honest with you, I mean, you're right about the pre-season games, and they've just not looked at the races at all. And they've lost players, they've not recruited, they've not replaced them adequately, in my view. I've got them down in 21st, unfortunately.
Harsh. Work up.
I also had them in 21st because the amount of off-field. If you thought that Blackburn was bad, it's arguably potentially worse for Hull, who are potentially going to be handed a massive transfer embargo. They're going to. There's talk that they might even be a bit like Sheffield Wednesday were back in 2020 to 2021 in the points deduction when we got relegated to League One. It's a similar sort of case potentially there, and I can't. The mood around the club's horrendous. The support from the fans is horrendous. It's as in, positivity wise from the fans is horrendous. And it's not going to be a good season for them, I don't think.
Well recovered with that one, by the way.
Yes, that's what I meant, just to clarify. I didn't mean they've got horrendous fans anyway.
So we'll slot them in 20th for now. Ian, Leeds United.
I'm going to say this again, although it breaks my heart to say it, champions. I cannot see anybody. I think Leeds will rip the Championship a new one this season. I think the amount of young talent that's at Ellen Road is off the scale.
Yeah.
They're exciting. They might lose Somerville to West Ham, but they've got replacements. They've got strength everywhere. Yeah. They've got a good manager. I just can't see beyond Leeds for champions.
I think for me, this needs to be the season that they go up. I think if they don't go up, they're in serious trouble next season because there'll be contracts running out. They'll have to re-recruit. They'll have to kind of rebuild. So I think this is basically shit or bust. So I think that sort of mentality will get them the Championship. It pains me to say it as well. Although, having said that, I'm one of the local, Yorkshire fans. I don't know if other fans do it around the country, where I look at local teams' results and I like to see local teams doing well until we play them. I know some fans aren't like that. Say again, sorry.
Even us?
Even Rotherham. I'd love to see all of the local teams in the Championship or the Premiership.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah.
and I think it'd be a really good division to have. I think it happened a fair few years back. There was, I think, Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, Leeds, Barnsley.
Yeah, I think it were in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember it, Ian. So it went in the 80s.
Oh, no. It might have been early 2000s then. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one where it was just it was such a northern division, and yeah, I loved it. Plenty of away games that season. Worko, Leeds, you've not given us your prediction.
I mean,
obviously,
they were my second place. As much as I wanted to literally shoot myself in the head for predicting that, but yeah, they're too good. They've got too much depth. The academy prospects coming through are absolutely ridiculous now, like ridiculously good. The depth is incredible. They're like losing Somerville. Will it make much of a difference? I don't know, because they were playing teams off the park last season. It was just ridiculous, and I hated that I enjoyed watching it. Because it's late. But yeah, I'm fine with them being first.
If you're a Leeds fan watching, we do apologise. We're all going to have to go for a shower after giving you so much praise. But yeah, I think Champions is
industrial disinfectant in our mouths.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Carry on, Worko, with Luton Town, mate.
Luton. Oh boy, Luton. Yeah. I'm sure you remember Luke Walsh. Hi, Luke, if you're watching. I don't think they're going to be challenging for promotion, because pretty much all of their parachute payments, all of their Premier League money has basically all gone on their new stadium, and they've done absolutely nothing so far in the window. So I've got them in 14th.
Oh no! Really?
I don't think Ian likes that one. Go for it, mate. Oh no!
To be honest, I mean, I enjoyed watching Luton last season in the Premier League. I think they gave it a hell of a good go.
Breath of fresh air, weren't they?
I think they've still got the majority of the side, although they're going to miss Ross Barkley. They're going to miss him a lot. They've still got Chio Benny ripping it up the wings. So I think a playoff spot's not out of the question. I've got them fourth.
I've been a bit too harsh there with my 14th. It's probably because I don't like the stick that I'd get if Wednesday lose to them from Luke.
So I've gone a little bit more conservative. I don't think they're going to have enough for the playoffs for the reasons that you mentioned, Worko. That I think they've not really signed anybody, but they have got a squad that showed capability 2 years ago to get out of the division. But the division's moved on a little bit. I think the quality has increased in the division. So I think they're just going to miss out on playoffs. I've got them down in 8th. So we've got 4th, 14th, and 8th. So there's a couple of spots there.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Yeah, go on.
We'll bang them there for now. On to Middlesbrough. So I can't praise them enough from what I saw in the pre-season friendly, but I'll repeat what I said. Pre-season, you can't really take that much away from them going into the competitive games, but you can see patterns of play emerging and movement off the ball, movement on the ball, the bit of quality that they had, and a couple of the goals that just the cut through was like an hot knife through butter. They were unreal, and I think if they play like that in the Championship, they'll win more than they lose. They finished 8th last season. I've got them improving on that. I've got them actually in 3rd, but I'm thinking I've probably gone a little bit too high with that. But anywhere in the playoffs, I think Middlesbrough will sit fairly comfortably in there this season, based on what I saw last Saturday. Worko?
Yeah, I'd agree. They're a very well set up side. The owner actually does know football and is willing to back the right person in a sustainable way as well. I just anywhere in the playoffs, I'm happy for them to go. Basically, I would say, because I struggled with final placements of certain teams that were up there. So yeah, anywhere in the playoffs, I would say, just not 6th.
I think we need to start doing it as a tier system and just having first and second playoff, upper mid-table, lower mid-table, and relegation.
Probably an idea for next season.
Yeah, so that we're not putting a neck on line for every place. Ian, Middlesbrough, where have you got them, mate?
Well, for the exact same reasons as you said, they're absolutely a joy to watch going forward, but I think they can be got at the back.
Well, yeah,
I
we
don't
scored 3
think they're as strong at the back as they need to be, really. But I still think they'll win more than they'll lose. I've got them 5th.
Right, 5th it is, because
There we go.
me and
Yeah.
Worko were happy with any one of those 4 places. And continue with Millwall, Ian.
Millwall, frightening place to go for more reasons than one. The Den, an absolutely fanatical fan
vest.
base.
Yeah.
They're a strong side at the Den. Away record probably could be better.
Yeah,
but they'll survive. I still think they'll survive fairly comfortably, and I've got them 17th.
I've got them 18th, so I'm in and around the same sort of area. Worko.
I'm the exact same as Ian. I said 17th. Yeah.
Yeah, I said 18th. I'm with you. We're getting there. On to Norwich. Worko, this one's yours, mate.
Oh yeah.
Finished 6th last season.
I would probably say, you see, they were what I put as 8th because the parachute payments have run out now. They've got to start paying within their means. And I think for the last few years they were relying quite heavily on those to sort of fund their promotion pushes and whatnot. So I mean, my answer's 8th, but obviously we've got Luton there, so yeah.
Ian, thoughts
I'm not a million
on
miles away. I've got them 9th for exactly the same reason. Yeah.
And I've got them 7th for the exact same reason. So, are we thinking about shuffling
8th.
these up? Say again?
I'd say, yeah. The consensus, I'd say 8th, but Luton are there, so what do you do?
So, do we
Maybe
think Coventry
Luton
will
go up one? Maybe?
just miss out? Luton
I think
up 1.
Coventry will be higher.
Yeah.
So, if we go there,
Yeah. And put Norwich there, yeah.
and Norwich in 8th.
Yeah.
I'm a bit happy with that, I think.
Yeah.
It's a tough league. The championship's so tough to predict because it's always so stupidly, like the playoffs all the way down to like 19th, 20th sometimes can be 1 point in between so many teams, and it's
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be miles off again this year. On to Oxford, though. I don't think we'll be miles off with this one. Just for the sheer, well, we've said the reasons earlier in terms of like the gap between divisions. They're a good team. You can't get away from that. They've done well in League One. I just think the step up to Championship will be too much. I think they'll be similar sort of standard to what Rotherham have been over a number of seasons. I think it'll be a one-season wonder, and I've got Oxford in 24th. I'm sorry, Oxford fans. I hope you survive, because I like to see teams get promoted and mix it up a little bit. But I can't see it, so I've got you in 24th. Ian, thoughts on that?
I couldn't agree more, really. I've got them a place higher in 23rd, but I can't see them surviving.
Work up.
I had them 24th. As much as I think that they've got a stupidly good centre of midfield with Brannigan, Louis Sibley, and Will Volks as well.
Yeah, Sibley's a hell of a move.
Can't really see them having many other assets other than that, personally. But yeah,
it's a shame. It is. Ian, Plymouth Argyle.
It's a shame to see, but I think Argyle will finish bottom of the whole league. I think they survived a lot on the home record last season. They were very, very, how can I put it, close to going down last season. I think defensively they're not the best. I just can't see other than another season of struggle. So yeah, I put them 24th.
Work up.
I put them 18th because you can say what you want about Wayne Rooney, the standards he holds himself to as a player, as a manager as well. If you actually saw his practices when he was the manager of Derby, they were very high. He was training, he was holding the players and everything in the squad to a very high standard. He only got his Derby side were only relegated thanks to a massive points deduction as well. Well, I say massive. It wasn't as big as ours was until it got reduced, but it was a 6-point reduction.
Yeah.
So I've got them 18th because I also don't know if the squad's quite any better than that. And I know we've got a lot of Plymouth fans. I know that they'd absolutely crucify me for saying rock bottom.
So I've got them 22nd. So I've got them relegated as well.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm just going to leave them floating here,
Uh-huh.
and we'll have a shuffle about toward
Yeah, all right.
like when it's starting to take shape a little bit more. We will see. On to Portsmouth. Worko finished champions of League One last season.
I would put them in about 14th, because I think they've got a very good mid-table championship side that they put together last year. I don't think it's any higher than that. I think that's a good place to hope to aim for them. So I've got 14th.
Would you agree with that, Ian?
We're copying off each other again. I've got them 15th. I think Messinio's done a fantastic job getting Portsmouth up. I can't see. I think the momentum will continue, and I think they'll survive comfortably in the championship.
I had them in 17th for similar reasons, but 17th was taken by Millwall, so I'm happy to go in and around 14th, like you guys have.
It's really nice to see him up again as well after so long, because they're a proper like club.
Yeah, they are a championship club, really, in effect.
Oh yeah.
Preston, I think you mentioned it earlier, Ian, with Bristol City being a typical championship team that doesn't look worried at any point. I mean, they went through a period where it looked like they was going to be promoted, but then tailed off. I just think they're a bit of a staple of championship. So I've got them 10. The exact same finish as what they had last season. I think they'll be in and around that.
A little bit further down. Yeah, exactly. Bristol City and Preston are just sort of mirrors of each other. I've got them 13th.
Worko.
I've got them 13th as well, just because I think they've lost the edge that they had when they were really challenging for the playoffs. But I still, they're easily good enough to stay up, and so I just think slap bang mid-table, like 13th.
Yeah. On to QPR, Ian. Finished 18th last season. Obviously, they were struggling at points, and then every time Wednesday won,
manager,
QPR
when
won.
he took over, that Cifuentes, they looked like we did. They look dead and buried. He did a fantastic job keeping them up last season, and he was playing some decent football as well. So I think they'll have a much better season this season, and I've got them in 11th.
I've also got them in 11th, Worko.
I've also got them in 11th.
Well, there you go. QPR, if you don't finish 11th, there's something seriously wrong.
Yeah.
On to Sheffield United. Worko, I'll let you take.
Nope.
I'm joking, Ian. You can have Sheffield United. We'll leave Wednesday for Worko.
Well, to be quite honest with you, I mean, until the last 2 or 3 weeks, I was quite worried about the Blades, really, recruitment-wise, because they didn't seem to have signed anybody of any note. But they've got 1 or 2 decent signings. I think there will be a Premier League relegation hangover, but I think they'll be okay. I mean, the 2 bigger clubs to really struggle in the higher tier, so I've got them 7th.
So they've started on -2. They've got points deduction, so they're already chasing a little bit. But similar to you, Ian, I think they've got enough about them to kind of be up and in and around the mix of playoffs. So I've got them in 5th, but obviously Middlesbrough are taking that, so I'm happy slotting them in 6th. With you saying 7th, Worko. If you can bring yourself to talk about Sheffield United, where do you think they're going to do?
Well, looking at the astoundingly awful off the field things that are happening, like their takeover that was supposed to happen that would have made them fine failed and fell through. They've got the same owner that won't put any money into them. Their squad, yes, they've lost like McBurney. They are rumoured to be losing Jebison as well, which is going to be quite bad for them in the long term.
Yeah, that'll be it.
I've put them 12th because I think they're going to be demoralised from the relegation from the Prem, but then I also think that the feeling around the squad isn't going to be great with all of the chaos that's happening off the field. So I've got them 12th.
Are we
I
happy
was
in
debating
10th?
23rd, but
Yeah.
I was debating 23rd because of the off-field problems, but then I've also seen who we've got left to sort out and everything. So
Yeah, let's just stick them in 20th. Obviously, they did worse than Luton last season. Not much has really changed between the two clubs, so yeah, probably fits at the slot in 10th. Worko, take it away. Sheffield Wednesday.
Now, I genuinely don't say this from a biased point of view because the players that we've signed, how we've approached training, how early we've signed the new players. If you actually look statistically at the game, if you discount Cisco, because that was just a bloody, like, what the hell was that? If you just count the Danny Röhl period of Sheffield Wednesday, if that was the entire season, we would have finished in 8th place. And with the recruitment that we've had, with how frighteningly good they've seemed, with how we've held, and I'm just trying to overly justify my league position thing by saying this so people got to say, oh, of course it'd say that, Wednesday fan. Oh. But I think we're the dark horse for 6th place because we held effectively Werder Bremen, who are a top 6 Bundesliga team, who were also playing as though it was a league game at the end of their own preseason. We held them to a draw, and the second half, it looks like we could have won it. We were playing just as well as they were, and I think if you compare that to championship teams this year, I think we're going to do quite well. So I've put 6th place. Sorry if that seems biased to anyone. Like, you know.
I can see it now. The comment section going red hot.
So there we go.
Ian, are you in agreement?
Not in as much agreement as Worko, obviously, because I can stand back and have an unbiased view, but I think Danny Röhl did an absolutely incredible job last season. I think he should have won the Championship Manager of the Season, to be honest, for when he took over. I think Wednesday have recruited excellently. I still don't think they'll challenge, but I don't think they'll be anywhere near the relegation position. So I've got them 14th.
So I also went 14th, purely because I think part of the success of Danny Röhl was there was no expectation. You were that far behind. Everybody kind of resigned themselves to relegation. So I think that kind of writes its team talk itself in terms of go out, play with freedom. There's no pressure on you. Just go and play. Starting at an even keel with everybody else, I think that might put a little bit of pressure on. I don't think you're going to be in the bother that you were in last season, or I hope you're not, because like I say, I want local clubs to do well. So that's why I went 14th. But there's a nice little spot in 12th that I think is screaming Sheffield Wednesday mid-table.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I'll concede to that. You know, I can take
reluctantly.
But, you know,
I think it's going to be a positive season, though.
Yeah, definitely.
But
anything compared to the start of last season's bloody positive. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yes, it's if Danny Röhl stays as well.
Oh yeah.
Because if he performs like he did last season, a bigger club is going to come for him in January, and it's then down to what sort of person he is. If he's wanting to progress for money, progress for kind of to be at a club at a higher level, you can't really fault anybody for moving for more money or going to ply the trade at the highest level possible. But yeah, I think if he has a really positive start to the season, I think the worry then would be, is he still going to be there for the rest of the season, which could kind of impact the progress that Sheffield Wednesday make. Sorry, Worko.
I mean, you don't sign a 3-year contract as a manager if you don't intend on sticking around. You know?
Unless you want a decent payout.
Yeah.
Or unless you're Steve Evans.
On to Stoke City. Ian, 17th last season. There's only
really poor last season. Really poor, but they've got a decent keeper in for a change. Victor Johansson, the signed for most.
Yeah, very
Didn't Johansson say that he wasn't leaving, by the way, and then he, like, 2 days or something later, was See you, lads. I'm signing for Stoke.
No, we always
Bye.
knew we were. We always knew we were leaving. We always knew
Ah.
we were leaving. It was a case of getting the fee that the release fee was quite low. Really, it was just over $1 million. But I think there was clauses put into it, as regards transferring on and things like that. And so I think that's what held it up. But we all knew we were going, unfortunately, because he was a fantastic keeper for us. But I think Stoke will have a better season this season. I really do. I think going forward they look quite strong. I think a full season for the manager Schumacher. I think he'll do okay. I've got him 10.
Okay, Worko, where have you got them, mate?
I actually also had them in at sort of 10th, 11th, around that area, just because of the Schumacher factor. The keeper, like Ian was saying, the keeper's better. They've recruited well up front too, in Sam Gallagher.
Yeah,
it's one of those teams I struggle to put anywhere solidly in mid-table, so I'm just happy with a mid-table slot, really.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're quite top 6 chasing at all.
So I'm happy 10th. The question is, do we shuffle Coventry, Norwich, Luton and Sheffield United up? Or do we shuffle all the rest down one?
No, I'd be happy for Coventry to get a playoff spot. So
I'm leaning towards those 4 up rather than the rest of the table down. Looking at kind of what we've got here and coming up.
Yeah.
So if you want to start talking about Sunderland while I'm shuffling these about, work up.
Sunderland are an interesting one because, for one, they've basically tried to do the weird Moneyball thing where they've slightly said, who were the best players for the teams kind of around us and whatever else. They tried nicking Danny Rule. They've successfully nabbed Ian Poveda. They allegedly were in for Ike Ugbo as well, and it's like, bloody hell, do you want to play in blue and white stripes as well, Sunderland? But I've put them at about sort of. They were my 12th, so therein lies my issue.
Well, you've done it again. I've gone 12.
So I've gone 9th for Sunderland. I've gone a little bit higher, so I think that kind of makes us decision for these guys for now.
Oh, go on then. Move Wednesday down one and put Sunderland at 12th.
Sorry,
come on, Workle. If Wednesday finished 13th, I don't think you'd be unhappy.
Oh no! I'm just
like you said when we started the championship table, mate. There's probably we're putting these teams in these positions. There's 1 or 2 points between them at the end of the season, isn't there?
Just predictions, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's not like
you sound absolutely fuming. On to Swansea. So finished 14th last season. I had them down as 12th this season, but looking at kind of who's in and around there, I'll probably drop them down a little bit with Watford and West Brom left. Oh.
See, I would have put Swansea in at about 17th, just because I don't think they've particularly recruited well.
Looking at Ian's face, I think he's got 17th for Swansea as well.
No, I've actually got 18th.
Oh,
18th. Well. So
we're not copying off each other, honestly.
I mean, I had Millwall at 18th originally. Stick them in 19th.
Yeah.
And Bristol City down one, maybe? Or are we putting Swansea in 18th?
I don't think Bristol City are quite 18th material. I think they're higher than that. So I'd be more inclined with saying Swansea at 18th.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Ian.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So it's looking like Plymouth are possibly here.
War, that's not good, is it? War.
Sorry, ATID. We will look at it before we lock it in because we've got Watford and West Brom. Are we looking 3rd and 4th for these? I had them down as 6th and 11th. 11th for Watford, 6th for West Brom.
I had 8th for Watford, 2nd for West Brom.
Oh. Well, I had West. I'm turning into Mike Tyson now.
Because I think Corbron is a championship genius.
Yeah, I had West Brom in third.
Yeah.
And then Middlesbrough fourth, actually. But I didn't have Watford that high up. I had them more.
I've got him 8th.
I've got them 13th, Watford.
Yeah, I had them 11th, so I'm not really comfortable putting them in the playoffs there.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
So are we looking Middlesbrough, Coventry, and Norwich shuffling up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah.
Look at that. Norwich has come from 8th to 6th.
Look at that. Crikey.
They've not even kicked a ball yet.
Yeah.
Are we comfortable with the top 2? I think we are. We're pretty unanimous with the top
we
2.
are.
We're Leeds and Burnley.
Sheffield Wednesday in 7th? No, kidding.
You try.
I don't think Watford are quite as high as 7th either. That's the problem.
No.
They'll always be fun to watch, Watford, because there's always a lot of goals in their games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got Watford 11th. You guys had them a little bit lower than that.
8th, I've got them 8th.
8th.
Move
I had
Luton
them
up and
13th.
stick them there.
Moving Luton up.
Yeah.
And put Watford
I'd-
8th. You know.
I'd maybe move that entire block up one. So Sheffield United 8th, Stoke 9th, QPR 10th, Sunderland 11th, and then Watford 12th. That's...
Yeah. That works for me.
Oh, Sheffield United moving up the table. I hate to see it. Bloody hell. Oh, anyway.
So
That's
our top
actually
12
decent.
Yeah.
I'm a bit happy with the top 12 there, actually.
Yeah.
Bottom 12. Let's have a look at this. Oxford, we were pretty much in agreement with those.
Yeah.
Plymouth, I had it 22nd, so I've got them going down. You guys had them a little bit higher, didn't you?
I had Argyle bottom.
Where did you have them work on?
I would have had them in. Looking at it's funny. You get time to think about it and stuff. And I actually would maybe say Derby in the top relegation slot, Blackburn only just surviving because they are on the tail end of their legal troubles.
Yeah.
And then that would be my final kind of relegation spots of Derby,
What,
Plymouth,
swap
and
Derby
Oxford.
for Blackburn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had Blackburn in 21st, Derby in 23rd. So that swap would put the relegation 3 as the 3 that I predicted. Ian, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that, yeah.
Going to get absolutely hammered by Derby fans here.
And let's face it, we could be horribly wrong.
We probably will
The
be.
biggest team in the league, apart from Leeds, is in the relegation spots. Oh no! Oh no! How could we? Sorry. Anyway.
I think that there could be some stinkers in there across all 3 divisions, but I feel more confident in those 3 predictions this year than what I did last year. And we didn't do very well last year, so we will see.
Last year, out of curiosity, that
With what, sorry?
who were the 3 that you said out of last season to get relegated? Did you say? Sorry, do you remember?
I'd have to look back. I can't remember.
Okay, yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll let you know in the chat.
Okay.
I'll send the pictures over. Yeah, I don't think we got
Just
many
interesting
right.
to
To be honest,
compare. Okay, I guess.
we should. I should have put that as a slide. Next season, this channel's
There we
all
go.
about improvement. So next
There we go.
season, these will be in for like I say, just a comparison.
Maybe next season we could get someone's rich parent to throw a lot of money at the show, and then it'd be really high production value, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, if there's any rich parents out there,
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be
We
a
will see.
superstar by then, Worko.
Oh well,
you'll be throwing money at the channel.
maybe. I don't know. Oh,
But no, that's our championship table locked in. We've locked in League One, we've locked in League Two. We've ticked over the 2-hour mark. So if you have stuck around this long to hear us rambling on about the EFL, thank you so much. We're looking forward to talking pretty much every Sunday, almost every Sunday, while we can get the team together. And we have got an announcement as well. There is a Twitter account now, the 72 Review. So search for @72_review. Get us followed on there, and any information about if we can't make a an episode because we've all got lives. We do try to do every Sunday because it does make the week a lot better, but sometimes it's just very difficult to get the logistics of everybody together at once. So yeah, it's almost every Sunday that we do it, but information will be posted on there. And Ian, you have started the 72 Review League on Fantasy EFL. Say a few words about that, mate. This is going to replace the predictions.
Actually, it's quite good because you predict 7 players out of all the 3 divisions of the EFL, and you can swap and change at will. You don't have to wait for transfer windows like you do in a lot of fantasy games. It's really good. So, and I should imagine it'll be very competitive. We've got 5 players at the moment. We need plenty more.
Yeah.
So I think if you click on 72 Review League, you can join it. I'd encourage all our viewers to do so. Yeah, and we can I can post an update every Sunday when we go online.
Lovely stuff, and it's the way that we're going to bring that competitive edge that we had last season with the predictions. If there isn't an episode that week, this will still be going. So even if an episode's missed,
I'll admin it. I'll collate all the scores and everything.
Yeah. So if you've got a Fantasy EFL account, search for 72 Review League, and it's a public league. You'll just be able to join it.
And it's much easier to keep up with that than it is for people like me who kept forgetting to submit the predictions each week. So I got relegated on the table.
So we get much less flack for it as well.
Yeah, you will indeed. Oh. So links to both of those will be in the description of this video. Links to everybody's YouTube channel will also be in the description as well. I've enjoyed that. We've not argued. We've agreed on the majority of things. We've shuffled a few about, and we've finally got our 3 divisions locked in for the 2024-25 season. Worko, any final words before we wrap it up, mate?
Just going forwards for the entire season of the 72 Review Show, when Jake says the phrases "kind of thing" or says the word, well, you already know the other word. Superb. You have to take a drink. Everybody in the chat has to take a drink with Jake saying "kind of thing" because he says it a lot, and superb. There we go. So that's the challenge for the fun little chat drinking game.
I'm glad that I'm teetotal.
Yeah.
Any drink is available. We don't condone.
Oh, of course. Just take a drink of whatever you have. Not.
We don't condone binge drinking on a Sunday night just before school or work.
Exactly.
Ian, any final words, mate?
It's been a grueler, this one, but I've enjoyed it. It's nice to get back to talking about football again.
It is.
Just think when we're in December, we're all boiling now, but when it's December and we've all got the heating on,
7 coats on, and
it's been great. Thanks, Dan. Thanks very much.
No, thank you for coming along and sitting with us for a couple of hours, and thank you all at home for watching as well. This is going up on the Sunday. What date is that? 4th?
4th.
Yes. 4th, so you'll be watching this on the 4th. And we will next be with you on the 11th, I believe.
Yeah, day after opening day.
Yeah, so we will be back on the 11th, usual time, 6:30. Who knows what the lineup's going to be? Around the Grounds might be on. Punk Chef might be on. Jonathan might be on. Or it might be our 3 lovely faces as well. So we will hopefully see you all there. Hopefully the channel grows and the show grows. Hopefully it stays as respectful in the chat as what it did last season, because that's what this community is all about. We've seen so much over the last couple of weeks with everything that's happening across the UK. It's ridiculous. We just need to band together, be respectful for each other, irrespective of race, religion, colour, orientation, you name it, whatever it is. We're here just to talk about football, our clubs, and hopefully enjoy it and help each other out and get through another week after a poor performance or after a very good performance. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for sticking with us for this mammoth preview and predictions. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, stick a big thumbs up on it. Comments in the section down below. Let us know your team and where you think we've got you wrong, or where you think we've got you right. Share it far and wide. Let everybody see it. And hopefully you have enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.